and we were increasing our capacity to handle more volume.
All right.
I would not see that as troubling.
And so this Ms. Snyder, is she with you today, or she was forced to retire?
She was not forced to retire. In fact, during the
Is she retired?
She is retired. Her choice.
She just wasn't forced to retire.
She was not forced to retire.
All right. Let me close by this. I sent your staff the information with regards to almost 4 million people that, if they do not re-enroll, will get hit with a tax bill some 10 to 12 months from now, if they do not, because their benchmark plan has changed. Are you notifying those almost 4 million people that they may get a tax bill if they do not re-enroll individually?
We are individually notifying folks about the.
Well, that's funny, because I have 17 counties I represent, and not a single one of them have gotten individually notified that they're going to get a tax bill.
So they are individually notified that. I did not get a chance to finish my sentence.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, they have been individually notified that they need to come back in to return to the marketplace to update their information and make sure that A, their information is current, and B, that they're selecting the plan.
That's a general marketing thing. You already
No, it's
responded
not
to
a
that.
general
Well,
marketing.
it is,
It's
but
an
let me tell you.
individual letter and phone calls to.
But individually, you know who is going to get a tax bill. You know that today, if they do not re-enroll.
You did not apologize for helping the administration deceive the American people on this Health Care Act, or for telling America the truth in your video comments about how it was a fraud upon the American people. Is that correct, sir?
I think the Affordable Care Act was passed in a highly transparent fashion with hundreds of hours of debate.
But every single thing they promised was a lie. How can you call that transparent? You didn't say what we're about to do for you is not going to really do you any good. You're not going to keep your doctor. You're not going to keep your hospital. Your premiums are going to go up. Why didn't you say that? You were the architect, one of the architects. You created the model. Is that model flawed?
I did economic microsimulation modeling that I believe is
simulation. So you actually created a model to justify their conclusions. Seems about what you did. I mean, you're a lot smarter than I did. Now, here's an opportunity for you to come clean. Lies on top of lies. This is what you have done. You have been a co-conspirator in defrauding the American people, and you admitted it in 2 videos and comments that I saw on TV.
You keep saying you don't recall. Do you not recall any numbers at all? I haven't seen a number you can recall since you gave us that approximately $400,000 in your opening statement. You're an economist. You work with numbers. Why is it that every question that comes from this side of the dais, we get a don't recall, Mr. Gruber?
The $400,000 is a number I recall very well because it's been made very public. The other contracts and other things I receive from states and the federal government are numbers that I don't have at my fingertips, but numbers that the committee can discuss with my counsel about what's appropriate to reveal.
Well, you're making it very, very obvious that we're not only going to have to discuss with your counsel, we're going to have to serve a subpoena, we're going to have to demand these numbers, because you're not even giving us a fair estimate of the approximately $4 million that you said in your earlier statement, well, this is excess and it didn't all come to me, but you haven't answered one question about grants and contracts. I never knew anyone in business who got even a small amount of something that didn't know about the grant or the contract gross value and then what they got from it. And it's amazing that you haven't given us one in numbers since that chosen amount, and that is a little disturbing. And I will caution you one last time, as these individuals ask their questions, that the goal was to get completed here today with sworn statements about numbers to the best of your recollection. Approximate was good enough. But, the fact that every answer is, well, discuss with my lawyer, puts this committee in a position where it is very clear we're going to have to do more discovery, and likely you're going to be back here again under the new chairmanship. So, Mr. Bentivoglio, did you have one last question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just one last question. I understand, according to the Supreme Court, this is a tax, correct? It's a tax.
As I said earlier, I don't believe the individual mandate is.
Okay, but it's a tax for failing to engage in commerce, because if I don't engage in Obamacare, go on the website, I'm going to be taxed or fined, correct?
The individual mandate assesses a penalty on you if you don't
Right.
get health insurance unless you meet certain exemption criteria.
I'd like to find some other examples of somebody being taxed for failing to engage in commerce. It's kind of like me going into my local grocery store, walking around and not buying anything, and a federal agent's outside the grocery store saying, hey, we're going to tax you because you didn't buy anything in that store.
Okay, again, we're having, is it, maybe it's a disconnect between here and there, and honestly, I'm not trying to be argumentative at this point. But you actually do work for the government. You do work for an agency that is under jurisdiction of this committee, under this oversight provision of transparency and everything else. Why would you even have to hesitate on providing contracts that are public monies are spent on to this committee?
I don't think I would. I just asked that I would be able to ask that question.
To who? You run the
Our legal
department.
counsel. I'm not an attorney.
Well, that's not a bad or a good thing. My question is, you run the department.
I run CMS, yes.
Yes. How many attorneys do you have working for you besides the ones that came with you?
I don't have any attorneys here with me.
Okay, maybe there's our problem.
I'm going to give you a little story. I'm on Obamacare. My husband was on Obamacare with me. And we were told that we were enrolled in Obamacare. And then when we filed claims, we were told we were not enrolled in Obamacare. And then we got it straightened out, and he filed claims, and we were told once again that we were not on Obamacare. Well, come to find out, my husband was having chest pains at the time that he was told we were not enrolled in Obamacare. And come to find out, he didn't have all of the tests that he was advised by his physician to have. So, on October 24th, the week before election, my husband went to sleep and never woke up. He had a massive heart attack in his sleep at age 65, a perfectly, by all appearances, healthy man. Come to find out, in a conversation with his physician after he died, he chose not to have one of the tests, the last test, his doctor told him to have. This happened to coincide with the time that we were told that we were not covered by Obamacare. I'm not telling you that my husband died because of Obamacare. He died because he had a massive heart attack in his sleep. But I am telling you that during the course of time that he was having tests by a physician and was told we were not covered by Obamacare, that he then decided not to have the last test the doctor asked him to have. Let me suggest that there may be a decline in participation and that it may not be to the benefit of the American people. I want to suggest that regardless of what happened to me personally, that there have been so many glitches in the passage and implementation of Obamacare that have real-life consequences on people's lives. And the so-called glibness that has been referenced today have direct consequences for real American people. So get over your damn glibness.
Symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty.